Today we're going to look at how to make multiple certificates fast and super dynamic way. You can use that for any image with text on it, and I'll show you the exact steps of how to create it. We will do a full build out, so we'll create the scenario from scratch, we'll create all automations from scratch, and I will show you exactly how you can replicate it yourself. So let's dive into it. Hey, my name is Manuel and I'm the founder of TechFlow.ai, and we love automation. Please like this video, leave your comment below and subscribe to our channel to not miss out any of these new tutorials that we are putting out. Today we're going to look at how to create a certificate or any other image with dynamic text on it with make.com. So let's jump into it. The first thing we need to do is we need to create our base design that we want to have as an image, and therefore we are simply using Canva. So on Canva, simply search for certificate, for example, and you will get a bunch of templates that you can use. So let's say we want to use, I don't know, like let's say this one over here. So we want to customize this template, and we need the base template with all the images without the actual text on it, or removing the text that we want to make dynamic. So this is this one, we want to make it dynamic. So let's remove this, and then we can leave this, and then the coach, whatever here, and then maybe you want to add a date somewhere given this date. Okay, that is our base. You can of course use any certificate you find here. You can play around with it. You can find whatever you want. You can replace a logo, change colors, and just create the design exactly the way that you want it. Then next, we download this file with a high resolution. Simply download it, and then going into Google Docs to create our base template. Therefore, I'll open new tab and say docs.new to create a Google document. We want to use format as page orientation as landscape, okay, and then we simply insert the image that we just downloaded from Canva. All right, the next thing is to use behind the text and fix position on page, and then we make it full screen so it's covering the entire page. And now we already have the base template here, and we simply have to create the dynamic text and position it right well. So I'm just putting a few enters here, and then we can move here and say, okay, here is where we want to have the name. Now the curly braces are telling Make in the end that this is a template field and we want to replace this value dynamically. So you can just type it like this, and then you can change the formatting to your liking. So for example, we can say, okay, we want to have, let's say we want to have lobster, and then we want to make this way bigger. So like this maybe. And you can also try how it looks like by just typing a name. So this looks awful, by the way. This one is quite nice, and let's make this bold. And then we have to try to position it in the center. So then we can position it in the center like this, and remove the tabs. Okay, so like this, center. Okay, so this looks quite good already. If I need to move it a little bit up, maybe that is better. And then we can make it still a little bit bigger. It's important to make it centered because the length of a name can be different. So let's make it like this. Okay, and then I will change the variable again to name, because that will be shown in the interface. And then we can also include the workshop code and the head of event. You could even insert like a table here and say, okay, I want to have a table. So, okay, so the table size would be more or less so that the dotted line is centered of the table cells, and then we can make this centered again. Let's also align it at the, and then let's reduce the font size like this. And now we can say, okay, this is the coach, and then on the other side we have the head of event, and now we have to remove the borders, so making the 0 point width, and now we have the template fields for coach and head of event. And the last thing we want is we also want to include a date. So therefore, we should have done that before because now it's moving down. So the date should be here. Let's say 25th of December 2030. So the date would look somehow like this, and this is okay for me. And let's rename the variable into date. Okay, so now we have the participant name, we have the date, we have the coach, we have the head of event, and our template is prepared. Let's give it a certain name, so certificate template for dynamic generation. And then we can find it on make. So now we have everything prepared. The last thing we want to do is we need to prepare the data where this is coming from. For testing purposes, I'll just say sheets.new and create a very simple Google Sheets database where the date given is the first column, then the participant name, and maybe the coach that was in that lesson, saying, okay, the workshop coach might be different and the head of event is always the same person. And then we can also say like your URL to certificate and email address of the participant. And then say, okay, this is a date column, 2030. 25th of May 2030, the participant name is Matt Techflow, the coach is Tony, and the URL to certificate, this will be inserted. Let's maybe move this around just to have a proper structure here and say, okay, the date given, participant name, email Tony, and then say matt@techflow.ai, and the URL to certificate, this is where we are storing the certificate after generation, and then we're sending out the email. All right, let's set this up on Make now. After creating a new scenario, you might have noticed this new interface if you are familiar with Make already. If you're watching this video at a later stage, then you're already familiar to this and know how it works. So in general, when you're searching for a certain module, then it will directly show the app and also show the most relevant modules for you within this app. So search rows and search rows advanced, because I typed in search row, and that is very handy. It allows to speed up the setup in a scenario by far. And also you have these all kind of different tools on the right hand side for quick access in case you need them. All right, we're using search rows, and let's also give this a name, participant list for certificate. And now let's get into Make and set it up. So we're using the Google Sheets and then selecting our spreadsheet and searching our sheet 1 where the email address exists and the URL to certificate does not exist, because we only want to generate new ones and not like double generate the documents. Okay, then I limit it to 1 for testing purposes. And once we're done with the setup, then we can actually increase that limit. All right, next, let's use a Google Docs module. Let's say template Google Docs. It's not populating it, that's a bummer. Anyways, create a document from a template. So we are using that one now. And here you can now select the document. This is shared with me. I go here and then search for it, and the certificate template for dynamic generation. And here it's all also explained. We need the name, we need the curly braces with the name so we can add them as fields below. And now we already have it, so we can dynamically fill them in. We want to add the participant name. Here we want to use the date, and then we want to add the coach in here. The head of event is fixed name. Let's say this is manual, whatever. And then the title, we can use start case function, for example, and say the participant name, we want to make the first word always, we want to make the first letter always capital and then the other one lowercase. And then we say certificate of completion. All right, then we need to select where we want to store that. So let's say we just want to store it in my drive, and then in the main folder, or let's say in the YouTube folder. Now this will generate the document. So let's run this once and see how it looks like. All right, so this looks pretty good already. We have the workshop coach, we have the head of event, we have the participant name here, its start case, and we have the given date. This date doesn't look really nice, so we might want to modify that first. And here it seems like it's not really centered, so I want to play around with that one too. So let's see if we can improve that slightly. I'll just move this a little bit to the left, and maybe the outer line a little bit more to the right. Now we're okay. That looks pretty good to me. And now we can go back into our scenario and we want to modify the date. If you don't know how to work with date functions, download our make functions cheat sheet below this video, and there we explain how you can work with the date functions. So we want to format the date, and we want to put it into a format of this, which is the 25th, and then say of the month name and the year. So this should output 25th of May 2030. So let's try this one more time. And there we go, 25th of May 2030. So this date looks way nicer than before. Also the Tony, the workshop coach, and the head of event looks more centered. If you want to put digital signatures on there, you can also do that by simply applying it to the base template, and then you don't have to worry about it. Now, next is that we want to download the document and attach it to an email. So download document here. We simply use the shared with me. Now it's actually in my drive. So map the document ID from before, and then we want to download it as a PDF. Then we want to store the PDF version of the file in our Google Drive because we don't need the original one. So we are going to upload a file again where we use the folder ID of our YouTube folder. And then we can send it via Gmail, send an email to the recipient of our certificate. So the email address over here, your certificate, hey, and then the participant name. You can also use the start case function here. And then remember, in the Gmail module, you have to use HTML tags or it will not use any new lines. So what I do, I usually just put new lines like this, and then always at the end of the line, or if I want to put spacing in between, I put them here. Then your certificate is ready. Well, let's start with congratulations on your progress. Your certificate is ready. Please see attached the PDF of your certificate, which you can print out. Best regards, your coach, and maybe the coach name here. All right, and then as an attachment, add an attachment, you can use the download a document module, which appends it as an attachment to the email. And then lastly, to keep our Google Drive clean, we want to delete the document that we created before because we already backed it up as a Google Drive, in the Google Drive as a PDF version. So let's just map it, document ID here like this. Okay. All right. So that's the full process. One last thing is missing because we are searching the rows with a certificate URL. It would continuously generate all the time. So we need to update this original row in order to fill in the URL of the Google Drive file. So shared with me, the participant list, sheet 1, row number is the row number from before. And then the URL to certificate is the web view link over here. If you want to make it publicly visible, this URL, then you should use the share link, generate share link before. So let's add that in as well. So get a share link. The file ID is this one, reader user, like let's say anyone is a reader. We don't need to include this over here. Let's make it look nice. And then we can use the share URL in here as the web content link. All right, that's our full scenario. Now let's run it once and see how it works in action. First is search the rows with a new participant. Then it generates the document, it downloads it, it uploads it again as a PDF version. So it downloads it as a PDF file, then it uploads it to our Google Drive, it creates a share link, it sends out an email to this with your coach Tony, which is fully dynamic, and then it deletes the documents so we are not cluttering our Google Drive, and then it updates the row in our Google Sheet. So here we have the final certificate as a PDF, and we can view this or directly download it actually, and then it looks like this. So I hope you like this walkthrough of a full scenario how to generate a dynamic certificate. Put in the comments below where you're using this, what kind of certificates or dynamic images with text on it you're going to create here, and I hope you have a lot of fun with it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to not miss out any of our new tutorials. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more.